It's a tense time for all, especially the new drivers.
Last cars are lining up now, what?
So when all the cars are in the grid.
Grid's full.
Häkkinen is in a state of shock after his sudden and violent departure. The Finn had been challenging for the lead. Without doubt, Malaysia's Sepang circuit plays host to the hottest, most grueling event on the Grand Prix calendar. Temperatures close to 40 degrees Celsius and humidity levels of almost 50% make for one of the toughest working environments imaginable. McLaren exercise physiologist Andy Matthews explains how he prepares the drivers for the Malaysian Grand Prix. It's time to get down to the serious business of qualifying. This session proved especially tense for BMW Williams. But even this much support can't get rid of Barrichello's Interlagos jinx. His Ferrari lets him down on the installation lap minutes before the start. Just getting on the grid will be a victory in itself.
So much going on. Even Michael's mechanics were there on my car on the grid. I was just sweating so much. To be honest with you, I had 5% of time to think that I could do well. All I cared at that time was to get ready for me to start.
Great drive. It was good. Very good.
There will be the time when our winning time is over, where we have to suffer maybe for a while. I hope the while is a short while, and we continue winning in Imola.
Situated in the Romagna region of northeast Italy, Italians have a strong sense of tradition and their love of good food, wine and fashion is matched only by their passion for motorsport. More problems for Schumacher. A left front puncher compounds his dreadful weekend.
Hopefully we've worked hard enough to eliminate our own problems, but I think it's a better way to go.
Ron Dennis may quickly change his mind and last. Ron Dennis realizes there's still plenty of work to be done as Coulthard prepares for a long day at the office. The Finns put in some blistering lap times. Now his mechanics have to do their bit. Whoever's ahead at the first corner will surely win this race. It looks as though Mika Häkkinen will end his 8-race victory drought. The Scots on the outside of Heidfeld-Sauber. He moves to lap Fisichella and still manages to take 6th and move into the points. The world champion is over a minute ahead of Montoya, but too far behind to threaten the Finn during the last lap. But it's all gone dreadfully wrong for Häkkinen. Clutch failure slows him to a crawl and stuns everybody in the McLaren garage. Schumacher can hardly believe his luck as he drives past the grounded Silver Arrow. You have to feel for the Finn, this is a horrible way to lose a race. Rubens eventually followed team orders. But what was the view of a former world champion? The tension is almost unbearable, just moments before the start of a race that could prove crucial at the halfway point of the season. The wrong place at the wrong time.
Safety car, safety car.
I don't know really what happened. The car just stepped out, the rear of the car over the curb just stepped out very suddenly. So, I don't know.
With Montoya, he went off and I had to avoid it, and without the traction control again, you know, the back end of the car just turned me around, and I couldn't do much.
Safety car in this lap, safety car in this lap. Okay, let's go.
Luck is definitely not on the Brits' side, but it's never been anywhere near Jacques Villeneuve when he races at this circuit. A broken drive shaft marks his 4th retirement in 6 Canadian Grand Prix. While Villeneuve wonders what he's got to do to win at home, the battle for the lead enters a crucial stage, the pit stop window. While Coulthard's championship chances take a hammer blow. The Scot was running 4th before this engine failure. Can he salvage the charred remains of his title campaign? Yet more misfortune for Trulli, who assumes 4th place until hydraulics failure leads to brake problems. That's the Italian's third premature exit, a sobering statistic. Despite all the inspiration from the French Air Force, Mika Häkkinen's McLaren stays rooted to the grid. The gearbox is to blame for his second start line retirement.
The team tried to start the car, but it just didn't. Engine didn't even spin, didn't even roll some reason. Something has broken inside inside somewhere. It didn't start.
The world champion will echo those sentiments as he prepares for his home race.
T-car for Fernando.
Catastrophe for Minardi as Fernando Alonso runs for the spare. He'll have to be quick to beat Marquez to it. Both cars have caught fire on the grid, leading to unwanted seat swapping for the drivers.
Tarso's in Fernando's car. Fernando's in the T car.
To Paul Stoddart's annoyance, his cars start from the pit lane, and Marquez may not go much further. Fuel pressure problems put Schumacher's championship aspirations on hold. His retirement gives Coulthard a golden opportunity to reduce the German's lead in the Drivers' Championship. Montoya joins him on the sidelines. Once again, his BMW engine expires. Coulthard suffers the same fate at the most inopportune time. The championship looks beyond him now.
So obviously very disappointed. Wasn't particularly quick in the race anyway.
Verstappen has spotted a problem with Montoya's car as the drivers regroup in race order.
Sam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Patrick.
The rear wing is a buckling compression failure on the right-hand side, 8 inches in from the end plate.
As a precaution, Ralph's wing is also attended to.
Let's do it then. Change the rear wing, please. How long have we got, Dick? We've got a flashing amber. 5 minutes to go. 3 minutes. 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes. Come on, start her in, guys. Start her in.
What's happening with Ralph's car? It's up in the air.
Unbelievable, Dickie. Great. Thank you.
On Friday morning, Formula One paid its respects to those who died in the terrorist atrocities in America on September the 11th by observing a minute's silence.
Thank you very much.
Japan is the last venue for the Formula One World Tour. The country has adopted many Western traits, but its society is still presided over by traditional values. Amazingly, both men are okay. The replay shows they were fortunate to escape serious injury. It was also very lucky that those behind weren't hit by the debris from the crash. Alesi checks on Raikkonen. Few would bet against him. It's the end of another gripping season of Formula One. 2001 saw the red cars get even further ahead, leaving their rivals with plenty to think about over the winter. And his 5th consecutive win. Schumacher carries on where he left off in 2000. Once again, Ferrari are the class of the field. Olivier Panis was demoted to 7th for overtaking under waved yellow flags. This gives Raikkonen his first championship point. One of the most exciting races ever was dominated by Ferrari. Coulthard collects valuable World Championship points, while Frentzen helps Jordan to 3rd in the Constructors' Championship. Did the world champion think his race was over in the early stages? A good setup helped, but David Coulthard's 10th victory was perhaps his most impressive ever.
We had a good strategy. We took a good gamble on what to do with the setup for the wet conditions, and I'm just really pleased for the whole team that we can for once show that we can work the strategies, we can make the right decisions on tyres and these sort of issues, because I feel that we get criticised quite often because when we've been the best car, if you don't win, then people think that you're doing a bad job, where in reality you can see we are hungry and we can achieve the goal.
The Scot cuts Schumacher's lead to 6 points, and Panis has made up for his Australian penalty. Heidfeld's great drive moved Sauber up to 3rd in the Constructors' Championship, but the top 2 remain the same. Coulthard's 6 points put him level with Michael Schumacher in the Drivers' Championship, while Barrichello consolidates 3rd position in the title race. Michael Schumacher is the first to congratulate his brother, who's also a big hit with his boss.
Everyone deserves this. They all worked hard as everybody else does. And Ralph triumphed magnificently today. He had it well under control all of the time.
Firsts. Jacques Villeneuve earns BAR's first ever podium finish, and Montoya also takes his first taste of F1 champagne. A race finish at last for the talented Colombian. Almost hidden by the controversy was Kimi Raikkonen's mature drive to 4th place, ahead of Verstappen, who claims Arrow's first point of the season. Coulthard was less inclined to celebrate due to the death on Saturday of Paul Morgan, the co-founder of Ilmor Engineering, the company that built Mercedes engines for McLaren.
From where I was in the grid, obviously having qualified 7th, it was important to start heavy and just to have the options open depending on how the race went. I was able to lean the engine out early on after the first few laps and save quite a few laps of fuel, as well as obviously with the safety car, and that enabled us to go quite long.
Coulthard's 2nd win of the season puts him to within 4 points of Michael Schumacher, but it could have easily been 2. Ferrari are running away with the Constructors' Championship, while Raikkonen took Sauber past the 100-point barrier. The British team still has a long way to go before they can threaten Ferrari, who claim their second 1-2 of the season. Schumacher's good friend Jean Alesi has claimed his and Prost's first point of the year, but you can't fit a donut in La Rascasse. Ahead of the ecstatic Frenchmen were David Coulthard and Jacques Villeneuve. Although it could have been much more, those 2 points could prove extremely valuable to the Scots Championship Challenge. Behind the Schumacher family, Häkkinen scores his first podium finish of the season, and De La Rosa scores his first point for Jaguar. Montoya silences his critics with a controlled drive to 2nd place, while Coulthard will finish 3rd. A good result in the circumstances. McLaren has been rocked by Adrian Newey's near defection to Jaguar. Despite his penalty, Ralf Schumacher claims 4th, but will still be rueing his hasty exit from the pits. Michael Schumacher's win takes him 24 points clear in the Drivers' Championship. David Coulthard and McLaren need to find another gear. Michael Schumacher takes his 2nd win in a week, while Trulli's run of retirement ends with a well-deserved 5th.
National Assembly presents the trophy to Michael Schumacher.
The world champion's lead has been extended to 31 points over David Coulthard. Jordan are just ahead in the Honda battle, while Ferrari extend their lead still further. The hectic schedule has been very good for Michael Schumacher. He takes maximum points, while Coulthard has only scored 7. Is the title as good as won? A bittersweet race for McLaren, while Sauber's youngsters post another giant-killing performance. The Schumachers have plenty of reason to celebrate, as do Fisichella and Button. That's Benetton's first double points finish of the season. Coulthard's retirement puts Michael Schumacher on the verge of title number 4, while Parnas's 2-stop strategy foiled a points finish. Michael Schumacher's 7th win of the season earns him world title number 4. Barrichello's 2nd place makes it a perfect day for Ferrari. Maranello's finest get ready to celebrate. The Drivers' and Constructors' Championships are settled, but Coulthard still has to secure 2nd place, while McLaren have to fend off Williams for the runner-up spot in the Constructors' Championship. Despite the disappointment, Coulthard is gracious in defeat.
Well done, mate! Fantastic drive! Fantastic! Thank you, thank you. Good job, guys. Good start.
David Coulthard took a well-deserved 2nd place, with Alesi scoring his first World Championship point for Jordan. It's been 23 races. The Colombian could headline many more races in the future. Barrichello's 2nd place sees him close on Coulthard for the runners-up position in the Drivers' Championship. For now, though, it's all about Montoya. Häkkönen's triumph is the ideal end to Ramirez's last race, whilst Irvine gives the Jaguar bosses some hope. Alesi gets his good result just as well for Jordan, as Trulli was disqualified from 4th when the stewards found that the wooden plank underneath his car. Montoya took a well-deserved 2nd place, while Ralf Schumacher claims a point after a difficult race. His brother goes through his traditional victory ritual. He's had a lot of practice this season. The world champion finishes up with nearly twice as many points as Coulthard. Montoya, Heidfeld and Raikkonen are the season's revelations, while Verstappen and Button will be extremely disappointed with their meagre totals. Ferrari have swept all before them, while Jordan finished 5th after winning their appeal against Trulli's disqualification in America. Arrows will hope that Cosworth Power can move them up the table next season.